This is the challenge. Battle for a new champion.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the number one, The Right Reality Podcast. My name is Steven.
And my name is Mixie. We are here to recap episode 4 of the challenge, season 39, new champion, battle for a new champion.
Yeah.
Episode 4, I'm coming out, and episode 5,
Wow.
Countdown to Chaos. What a mouthful.
Ooh. See, to me, Countdown to Chaos is the title for number 4 because number 5 was Chaos. There was only a small portion of 5 where we were counting down to the chaos, and then it was just all chaos.
Steven, we have to stop expecting good episode titles from the challenge. They have continuously proven that they aren't going to give us good ones, so we're just not going to get them. And that's it.
And I have to be okay with that now. They've
Yeah.
proven that, and we leave that job to All-Star Shore.
Exactly. They
All-Star
pick up the
Shore,
pieces for us.
There it is. They will pick it up, and they will run through the finish line with us for good episode titles. That is not what the challenge does. But yeah, we got another double episode here for you guys this week. We have the end of last week and then this week's show. A lot to get to coming up. At the end, we do have another special guest joining us.
We do.
We do. Mixie, what is this person's name?
Kieran.
Ladies and gentlemen, pop the champagne. For the first time all season, Mixie got Kieran's name right.
Let's
Holy
go.
Shit. Wow. What a wonderful world.
I thought I would have more time to learn his name. Him going at the end of episode 5 was not on my bingo card. That shit came out of left field. I'll give it to the editors on that one. They did a great job of burying that lead. They did a terrible job of burying the lead at episode 4, though, so we're going to cut it and make it even.
That is a very, very good point. Sometimes they'll deliver, and other times it's like, yeah, we got exactly what we thought we were going to get. Okay,
we can never win it all, you know? Like, they had some great moments in episode 4, but I mean, basically 2 minutes into episode 4, Kylan does this whole speech about how he doesn't have really any friends or any alliances, and he's not anybody's number one. I was like, cool, see you in the sand.
Literally, quote, I don't have a number one. He's talking to Melissa, and he goes, I don't have a number one. I go, that's a problem, my guy. I don't think I've ever heard that on the show. Somebody goes, I don't have a number one, because they're never there long enough. What? You don't have a number one?
It's the opposite of the thing we keep complaining about. Too many motherfucking people in your alliance, then not having any alliance at all.
So it manages out. But he is in an alliance, but he doesn't have a number one in the alliance.
Yeah, I guess.
Of the real alliance, but is that alliance an actual alliance? Because in episode 5, we will see Neresa's alliance, and I was like, I feel like there's different people in this alliance from last time.
Oh, God, the Nerese Alliance graphic. My head was spinning. I was like, Steven's going to have a field day with this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to that in a bit. We already talked about Kylan not having a number one, telling Melissa, and this will be a theme over the course of the next couple episodes here, guys.
Uh-huh.
The fact that there is an American alliance, but a good majority of the people on the American alliance are canoodling with people on the other alliance.
Oh, yeah. I have that on my discussion points for sure.
And to me, why? Why? Then when I see a graphic, that person better be in your alliance because they're in your alliance. If you're hanging out and you're sleeping with them and you're like rubbing each other's backs, they're in your alliance.
Mariah.
Not in your alliance. And then Mariah doesn't vote with the House this time again.
Twice. She didn't do it twice.
And she's still allegedly in the alliance. Like, this is the shit. And this is my next point here. This is my hot take.
Okay.
You ready, boys and girls at home?
Hit me.
I think it's good not to have any vets in the house. I'm going to say it. I just did. Having people doing what they're doing now is so messy.
Yep.
They're all playing so messy
Yes.
because the vets knew not to do this shit. The vets knew, well, if there's an alliance, I really can't be like making out with somebody who's not on the alliance, because if I want that, with the game, it's just so nice to be able to disconnect from the game and just spend time with somebody, which is the soundbite all of these fuckers use.
I hate when I hear that shit. It's like, oh, is it so hard to be in a house and play a fun game once every 3 days and get fed and drink and potentially make a fuck ton of money? And even if you don't, you go home and you have all these followers and you can put your fucking sugar bear hair in your mouth and make all of this money. Oh, when? Do you need an escape from it?
It must be so hard just posting photos for a living.
I agree with what you're saying, but I will say this, especially after seeing episode 5 and the chaos that ensued with Jordan. I don't understand this whole second tier or level or step or whatever the fuck we're calling it. Should have been from the beginning, and it should go the entire time. They would have the people that are like, we want the vets. We want to see the vets. We got to see these classic goats of the challenge. Yeah. They would still be there every episode, and we would still be getting what I agree with you on, the absolute chaos fuckery dumpster fire that is what's going on in the house. So we're seeing these great people every night on the elimination floor, and we're seeing the dumpster fire that is people that have played 1, 2, has Big T played three seasons, and you can have your cake and eat it too, because I think that a lot of the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter and stuff, and definitely not on Reddit because I'm not allowed to be on there, is that people miss seeing these people that they watched for so long and they grew a connection to.
Sure. But guess what? They're still fucking watching. And that's the point. I don't like that there's not there. Then don't watch the episode. I had this take. I spoke to Mama Frank yesterday about this.
Miss her. Need her hot takes. Where have they been?
Well, now that we might be doing two like
true.
this, we might be able to have her comment.
Yeah, do this to the first one? Yeah, that'd be nice.
They ruined this for themselves. Let me just paint you a picture with my imagination brush, everybody. They do what they did this week for the chaos. We go through 4 weeks. There are no vets there. And then, unbeknownst to us, the viewing public, TJ says, in order to beat the best, we go, oh my God, you have to beat the best. And Jordan walks in.
Yeah.
And we go, holy shit. And what happens is all of the people who weren't going to watch because there was no vets there would not have watched. And the way you market that from MTV's perspective is you go, you cannot not watch a season of the challenge because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the problem was we knew they're all, and it's not that we know there are vets coming. We know exactly who's coming. We know all
I
of them.
I agree.
There was no surprise. Twitter would have been it was already banging last night. It would have been even more on fire.
Yeah.
If nobody knew. There would have been clips every Jordan's there. And then all the discussion. Who do you guys think is going to show up? Who do you think is going to be the females? Are they going to do this for so long? But the reason we can't do what you wanted to do, unfortunately, is because we have to fill 20 fucking episodes. There are not 20 vets to bring in to do that.
I feel like there is. I disagree with you. I feel like there is. I also feel like they could have done, like, the first 4 weeks could have been, what we saw with Jordan. And then the second 4 weeks could have been guy-girl teams. And, like, we saw, I don't know, a guy and a girl together that maybe they both won one season. Like a Casey and a somebody else that both won one season, but together they have 2 wins. They go against a duo, and then we get our second step ladder or whatever the fuck of duos. And then at the end, it's like you have to run a mini final against 4 of them.
All of them. It could be like an Iron Chef type challenge where it's like you get to call down the vet that you want. Or there's a wheel, and you spin the wheel, and you see what vet you want. And they don't live in the house with you. They just come out. You spin a wheel. You spin a wheel for a game, so there's no fuckery.
Are you asking for an algorithm?
Never. Never asking for an algorithm. I'm also not asking for TJ to randomly pull out bricks out of a suitcase that were very clearly stacked in a very specific order.
Everything's random, Steven. How dare you?
Oh my God. Emmanuel and Berna Bertha are on the same team? That's funny, because according to the two graphics of alliances you gave us, they weren't on any of them. Random. There's some tomfoolery. And spoiler alert for our interview later. I shouldn't say spoiler. It's not a spoiler. I'm going to prepare you. Our boy Kieran took us to the corner.
Yeah, immediately. He was in the corner and goes, "Hey guys, nice to see you. Come on in."
Come on in. Boy, do I have some things to tell you. And I will say this, and we'll talk about it when we get there. I was constantly waiting for the MTV person to go.
I was waiting too.
Hey, we can't. He
spilled tea, guys, and it's good. So make sure you stick around for that. Speaking of things that were fishy, this whole Corey Zara storyline, clearly something happened, and I'm not going to say it didn't, but they show the flashbacks of, quote, what happened. We hear Corey say Zara's name. We do not see him saying Zara's name.
Okay.
It is just audio, and it's showing whoever he was talking to at the time, but not showing the words coming out of his mouth. Now, he didn't deny it, but I have a feeling that things were clipped and certain things were taken to make it seem like maybe Corey and Zara got into a bit of a tiff, and he was like, "I'm going to say your name." She was like, "Hey, no." And that was it. Maybe Corey did go around and try to swing the votes around. Who knows? But it was weird to me that they didn't show him saying it at that time. They didn't show him saying it at all. It was just a sound clip, and it was just dropped in randomly.
I think this was clear. Great pickup as always.
I had to bring it up because I like Corey, and I don't like the picture that's being painted of him this season.
Well, he did it to himself the next week. Like, he did it to himself.
We'll get into that. Okay. We'll get into that. We'll have
a little debate, it looks like there.
We will.
Let's go back to something we can agree on.
Okay.
TJ's shirt at the Daily was straight gas.
I mean, the guy dresses immaculate. Again, give me your stylist. We need him.
It's great. I actually message. I'm gonna try to message him and be like, "Bro, like, you gotta tell us who your stylist is. Like,
we need the information. You can't gatekeep it."
Is Roxanne Lavin like packing your suitcase with all these fits before you leave? Is like the wife like setting you up good?
Roxanne.
Like his shirt, I was like, is Mr. TJ, who sometimes handles Hall of Fame legend, BMX guy, also on Stranger Things? Like, I felt like he was on Stranger Things looking at his shirt.
It was a very nice fit. You know who needs help with their dressing and just their overall vision on television is Ed. Ed, once again, had his bitch please pieces out. So I refer to them as bitch please pieces.
Okay.
I don't know if this is something, I actually don't know if I made this up or if it already existed. So please call me out, guys, if it does. But do you know what I'm talking about when he has the two pieces of hair in front?
Right.
So what I refer to them as when I do my hair and I have the bitch pleases out, you go, bitch, please. And now you have your bitch please pieces.
My goodness.
I have a feeling this is the Ed
number
look.
One only covers podcasts and only does stuff for the challenge and also sure fashion as well.
Bitch please. Bitch please.
Bitch please.
Oh, look at those bitch please.
Oh. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Get stuffed.
You gotta watch the YouTube video to know what we're talking about. See, this is why you check out YouTube.
Please.
But yeah, as if it couldn't get any worse, Nerys. We find out it's a swimming challenge.
Oh my God. TJ finally speaks for the people of the challenge, the viewers, the listeners of the number one. and basically says in so many words, I'm just going to sum up his intro to this. To be the champ, you have to learn how to fucking swim. That's kind of what he said in so many words. I don't think that was a quote. That's not a quote, but it's a unquote, like quote unquote. You know what I mean? He's like, in order to be a challenge champion, you got to swim. And then I was like, let's find out who's not a great swimmer. There's got to be a few of them. Nixie, did you have Berna Bertha as not a good swimmer on your bingo card?
I didn't, but I will say I was beaming with pride when Berna Bertha dove down, grabbed her piece, and came back up. I was like, hell fucking yeah, Berna Bertha. We haven't seen much of Berna Bertha in these last 2 episodes, which I feel good about. The less I see her, the longer she's going to be there, right? That's what I keep telling myself. We're a pro Berna Bertha podcast. And I was so proud of her. No, I did not have her on my bingo card. I also don't remember Nerys being bad at swimming. But did they not make it that far?
Hold on. Please tell me, guys, that I'm not the only one who thought of this. Because what happened was Nerys is up by the trees with like her arms crossed. And she's like I can swim. I'm just like not confident. But I can swim. I'm just not as confident as you guys. Mm-hmm. And all I thought about was this very clip from The Office. Play it. Do you know what clip I'm talking about, Nix?
I don't technically have a hearing problem, but sometimes when there's a lot of noises occurring at the same time, I'll hear them as one big jumble. Again, it's not that I can't hear because that's false. I can. I just can't distinguish between everything I'm hearing.
Got it.
That's exactly what I thought of.
I actually forgot about that clip, but that's exactly what it was. That's so funny.
Nate from The Office, ladies and gentlemen.
Amazing. What a deep cut, Steven. Good for you. Once I saw it, I was like, oh, I remember that clip, but I would not have connected the two.
Just it's not that I can't hear. It's just that when I hear a bunch of noises together, I can't distinguish. But again, I can hear. I don't technically have a hearing problem. And I go, Nerys is just like, it's not that I can't swim. I'm just not as confident as other people. Again, I can swim.
Yep.
It's just, I'm not as confident as everybody else. And then basically, she was the only one who couldn't do it.
Yep.
She was the only one who couldn't do it.
She says she has this Nelly T necklace on. It's going to help her swim. I can't think of a worse necklace to have on to help you swim, girl. He's not a good swimmer. And can you believe it? She does the worst.
Just because the necklace says scuba on it doesn't mean it's going to help you in that. Because in that case, I would have so many necklaces, like all of the necklaces that would be like Taylor Swift boyfriend.
Sugar daddy.
That, right? But again, it is Nerys, and she's hot. So
she
probably just thinks she can put a necklace on and it will do stuff for her.
You're so right. I did not take that into consideration. And this is why I love doing this with you, because you open my eyes to the things I don't realize. You're 100% right. She's hot. She doesn't know. And that's not her fault.
No, they don't know any better.
It's not her fault. Speaking of not being their fault, I want to talk about this. They keep doing these diving situations. They did it on USA and all this other. We keep having them dive. Diving in a life jacket is so hard to do.
Yeah. I
understand why they have life jackets on. But can't they just like take it off and dive and come back and put it on? I just like forcing them. I feel like that was a big problem with a lot of these people. They have to like force against a life jacket. And they're already bad swimmers, a number of them. And they have to try to like go against the life jacket, which the whole point of a life jacket is to keep you above the water.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So I feel like it's unfair that they're putting the life jackets on them. Again, I can't really think of a better option because they need it so that they don't die. But then maybe don't make them dive. Make them swim long distances.
They are the thinner life vest, but I have a bigger thing that they can get rid of. The helmets. I believe they are wearing helmets just so there can be GoPros attached to the helmet. Because
I wouldn't surprise
why
me.
do I need a helmet swimming? The answer is just so I can have a GoPro attached to it.
That's more shit that they have to deal with. That's a good
Just
point
swimming
too.
with this, and her helmet was like, girl, get somebody to strap you in who's played football. Like, that thing shouldn't move. That was like all over her face.
Yeah.
She's like, nah, my helmet. I'm like, it's not your helmet. The helmet's not what's holding you back.
Yeah.
So they had to come over. Other people had to help. Yeah, it's just crazy. Melissa got it when she was barely holding on for dear life. Appreciated that. You were right about Berna Bertha. She got horrors. And here's the question I now bring to you, Mixie.
Oh gosh, I think I know what the question is, but go ahead.
They win with 3 seconds left.
My next note. No chance this time countdown was accurate. 3 seconds?
No chance there was 3 seconds left. And you want to know why I know that? Guys, when have we ever seen the clock counting down like this? Now, I understand that these are not the same challenges, but there is no chance in hell that there was only 3 seconds left.
Well, I mean, there's just logically, it doesn't make any sense. But also, if you're watching it, especially at the last 10-second countdown, you see a group leaving, let's say the black section, and you see somebody stepping onto the platform. Then they go to a different angle for the group that's leaving the blue section. But that person that just again 0.2 seconds before was stepping off the black section is now on the opposite side of the floating barge.
Yeah.
That's not how time works.
And then there was somebody clicking one in, and then they were getting up, and then they did a wide shot, and that barge is moving towards the camera. I was like, okay, I don't care if it was 3 seconds or a minute and 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Did anyone really believe there was 3 seconds left? Please, guys, come on. The clocks are never on the screen. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I would assume that the hotties knew that was bullshit, because we've talked about stuff like this before. I do want to mention, before we get into the night portion of everything, Ed fucking slayed this. And I feel like people are sleeping on Ed. I feel good about Ed.
Bitch, please.
Ed with his bitch, please. I feel really good about Ed. I think Ed's making it to the final. I am to the point where the next episode we record, I might feel confident enough to lock Ed into a final.
Ed, I'm very sorry, but that probably means you're getting eliminated in the next men's episode. Oh, Nixie just fucked you sideways, my guy.
I have no spoilers in my system. I'm stating it for the record. I really think Ed is a sleeper. He murdered the math portion of it with the cars, that fucking easy ass daily. He killed that though, and he pretty much carried that whole situation on his back. He did 3 of these puzzle pieces. Nobody's saying his name. His social game is great. Everybody seems to really like him. I'm telling you. Sleeper cell Ed.
I would love to see Ed in the final. I'd love to see Ed get down the line a little bit longer. Here's what I don't know about it. I think I have this down in the next episode. They give Ed the worst things to say on television that they need him to say. They always, hold on. I got to pull up my notes for the next episode. They're not on the same page. But he said something during that next episode, during episode 5, that I was like, oh, here it is. Ed, my guy. I love you.
I love him.
Are you ready for this quote? I was going to play the audio, but I just want to read it out.
Please.
Should I try my best Ed voice?
Yeah. Do you have a leopard print?
Ha! Ha! Chaos. No, I can't.
Oh.
Chaos is chaos, but the only way to probably be safe is to win. So let's win. Chaos is chaos. But the only way to probably be safe is to win. So let's win. Probably be safe.
A poet, Steven. I do want to state last thing about Ed because I just want it on the record, and I also want to hear people's thoughts on it, and then we can move on. I think they're grooming him to be the next Bananas.
Oh, what a wow.
You're going to sit here and tell me that they wouldn't feed that line to Bananas.
I cannot not say that. I don't know.
I feel like they're setting him up to be the next Bananas. They're getting him a little bit more comfortable so he can start writing notes and shit. I think we're getting there.
They need somebody. I don't know. Devin's not going to be able to do it for all that long either.
Devin's his own person. I don't
That's
think
true.
Devin is a Bananas. I think he's his own person. Because
Yeah,
Big
hold
Brother
his hold.
sucks, you know? So I just feel like they're grooming Ed to be the next Bananas. Hot take.
Wow.
We'll see what happens.
Let's just speed by the fact that nobody saw the giant red flag that was TJ telling them for the first time all season that it had to be a men's week. Let's just blow by that and pretend that there wasn't a huge conversation in the house about that. And let's also pretend that Nerys didn't just thank every god in the world, because she would have been on the block, I think.
I agree. I fully agree with you. She was up on the chopping block.
The men would have done it. The men would have been like, you know how many swimming things there are on here and you could hold us back for money? Like, no, even though she's got a lot of allies, but still, like, I think they would have got other people in on that. What a absolute great thing for that to happen, that she did not go in there, that was not a men's week, because that would have been it. This is where the Big T coming out party begins.
Yes, and they played my song of the summer, Padam.
Padam Padam.
I love Padam Padam.
If you don't know what that is, it's a gay anthem. Okay.
It is. It's the summer of gay anthems. This summer,
Yeah.
it was it.
And you know how we know that, you guys listening?
Tell them.
Allies.
Allies. You know who else is an ally and stated specifically they were an ally?
Asaf.
Asaf,
Big ally.
the ally of all allies. Dress as a woman,
Yeah.
ally.
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 He's like, I'll do this. You're going to dress me up? And he's like, done. Done and done. I'm a big ally. I look good in this. I'll rock this out.
Yeah, he did. He rocked it. I like Asaf a lot. God love him.
I love Asaf. I stated it from the moment this season started. He gave me a wah wah wee wow Borat impression. I go, all in on Asaf. And I continue to be proved right.
Yeah.
Next episode, where he starts like giving it to Corey every single opportunity. Like, the cameras went down. Let's be honest. The cameras went down after that daily. And they had to bring the cameras back up because he just started laying into Corey.
They did. It was really fucking
And then at the
funny.
deliberation that I did not realize was a voting opportunity, because it was never clearly stated until they started putting numbers on the screen.
They did. Somebody, it was like a weird voiceover thing. I don't even remember who it was. It was like, our deliberations have now turned into votes, like a time to vote. And I was like, what? And then all of a sudden they were saying names. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Chaos. It's chaos.
Ladder step, fucking level.
Who knows? The sad thing about chaos starting is that means we did not. We didn't get cut control.
We didn't get cuck control, but we can get chaos cucking or cuckold chaos.
Yes, we can. Yes,
We
can.
don't know for sure that it's gone. Okay, we don't
Okay.
know for sure. We know the glory hole hallway's not here, and we have to accept that. But there's a potential of chaos cuckold edition, and we got to hold out on that.
I'm sorry. I'm clearing a tear from my eye because I'm just thinking, who was there when the glory hole hallway was thrown into the scrap? Did anybody take a piece of the glory hole hallway home and like frame it?
What I would give for just a square of one of the holes, just a singular glory hole.
Just one glory hole.
I would hang it in like a shadow box. It would be right here.
It would be right there. I would attach it to my blue screen behind me.
Yeah.
It would just be honored. And then when we thank Rob Dyrdek, we'd also have to thank the glory hole hallway.
Yes.
And all that. Yeah, it's what we pray to. You know what I mean?
Very quickly, The Right Reality is very proud and happy of Big T. We love you. Congratulations on coming out. Good for you, girl. Ally. We go to all of a sudden we are playing most likely, or who is going to do this or that. And of course, Huey's drunk and says some crazy shit.
God bless him. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I love Huey.
All the vets would not have had this. They would have not tried to say any of this. So this is the type of stuff that gets you in trouble. That's what I was saying earlier. Mm-hmm. Vets don't do anything that's going to get them in trouble.
Yeah.
So the season is usually quite boring.
Mm-hmm.
The season this far versus the beginning of the season last time, Spies or whatever it was fucking called, Best Friends that we just met yesterday. Ride or dies. There we go. That's the same thing.
There we go. Ride or dies. Definitely the people that they would ride or die for. Ride or dies.
Ride or die.
Uh-huh.
That I don't see you outside of filming. Ride or dies.
Ride or die.
I don't ever see you outside of filming. So ride or die. Oh, my ride literally got sick with the vid. So now I'm somebody else's die. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Sign us up.
Ride or die.
Huey with the phenomenal question, who's most likely to cheat on their partner here? And the cameraman, no Callum, was fucking around. He swung that camera right over to Callum.
And the nervous nibble on the nail and the dodgy eyes. He's such a piece of shit. And it sucks because I do think I would have liked him. Like, he seems funny and fun and like a good time. But what a goddamn piece of shit. No.
I don't think I've ever looked at somebody with that amount of face tattoos and gone, you know what? I believe you're probably really good in relationships and you probably never cheat. You know? Just a fucking... You should write books about you. You should hold classes and shit like that.
The whole fucking thing with him and his ITM and the producer, like, also
Awful.
trying to get a straight answer from him, and he still wouldn't give a straight answer. Like, and you know that they had to cut around all of his probably rambling and what the producer was trying to get out of him. And we still didn't get an answer as, like, are you actually dating? What's going on? How long have you been back together? Like, what? No answers.
He did the stereotypical male thing where he just, like, when's the last time you've seen an ITM on this show where the person's like, well, and they're looking down. They're like, well, you know, we spent 2 months pining for each other. And then like we all went, and he's just never looking at the camera.
Yep.
And that's what we call a poker tell, everybody. That's what we call a poker tell.
Yeah.
And the producer later was like, okay, maybe I didn't ask this simply enough for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I earlier stated what I thought was a simple question. How long this has been going on for?
Yep.
And then you proceeded to ramble for 8 minutes. So let me just get a better question here. Is she your girlfriend? And it's like,
yeah, that is what they said.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what I'm going to do. Not the answer we're looking for, my guy. It's a yes or a no.
Well, no answer is he knows he's wrong and he's dating this girl. My girl Michelle deserves better. I hate you because of how you're doing Michelle dirty. I love Michelle, and it just pisses me off that she's being treated like this. Justice for Michelle. Speaking of justice, Steven,
nice transition.
Where do you stand on the Mariah Johnny James situation?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a game that we call Preach and Preach award for the week goes to James saying,
I'm here to play the game. If people have got other stuff going on back home, but they're still flirting with me, that's their problem, not mine.
Preach.
I agree. Not James's problem. Not James's problem at all.
Where I stand on this is very simply, if I ever get to say, what would happen if the roles were reversed? If I'm ever able to say that as part of a conversation, it probably means this doesn't look good for you.
Okay.
And that's where I stand on this. I don't know what their relationship was, but if I go, can you imagine if Johnny came onto the show and there was another girl Johnny would have been dragged.
Yeah.
It would have gone on, and he could have said everything he wanted. He could have said the same stuff she said.
I agree.
And Johnny would be like, yeah, just a piece of shit. And yeah, that's a little bit because of his history. But still, if I'm taking it at face value, I think people would say the same thing. But then she's crying to Nerys after, Mix.
Yeah, I don't know. I really would appreciate a timeline, as I always do. It doesn't make sense to me because they were very public on social media.
Yes.
Being together. When they were together, they were posting stuff. He was recording podcasts with her. All of this stuff was happening. So to the outside person looking in, maybe they didn't have a title, but they were very much close enough, and they were publicizing it to the point where they wanted people to know that they were together. If that is the case, face value, I think what she's doing is a little fucked up. Now, if what she's saying is actually the case, and they both are aware that they're not dating, and when they see each other, they see each other, and when they don't, then she shouldn't feel bad about it. But
that's what held it up for me.
There's this weird, I don't know what is real. I don't know if like the editing is just heavy on like, oh, Johnny, so that they can use Johnny's name.
I don't think that was done because they don't need this for that scenario, right? It could have been anybody. If it wasn't Johnny and she went to Nerys and she's like, I've been seeing this guy at home, but we're not really official.
I don't think it would have been as big of a deal. I just don't think it would have been as big of a deal. It's bananas.
Well, okay. All right. But I just don't think that would have been like, I think if she was still crying.
We saw them fall in love. We saw their love story, and everyone's super invested.
They showed more in that recap than they did that entire season of those. I
agree. That's what makes me think that they're trying to like ride the banana coattails and bring him in somehow. This whole thing doesn't sit well with me. I think that there's a middle ground in this that we're never going to get. I think that they could not have been together. I don't know. I feel like what we're seeing in the edit isn't 100% accurate to what is actually going on in real life.
It never is. But the issue that I had with it was that she was crying after to Nerys. Nerys is like, you're not doing anything wrong. I was like, she clearly feels like she's doing something wrong, Nerys, because she's crying to you after, I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened.
So she's crying to you, being like, blah, 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 blah. Now, she has said in a tweet that night where Twitter just broke down and some weird shit with all the ladies started going nuts.
Yep.
Was like, I didn't want to have to call Johnny in the middle of the show and explain this to him because I know how that would have looked for him on TV. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But again, I'm not crying unless I feel like I've done something wrong.
Yeah. But there's also like girls, I think, just get like in their, I mean, I do it. Girls get in their head. They create a bigger scenario than what is actually happening. I think maybe she's taking bits and pieces. I mean, she said that she's the one that's not made it official. So if that's the case, then why is she crying? Again, bits and pieces that are not adding up. Edits are happening that don't make sense. But the twists keep coming, Steven. I am prepared. I'm sitting there watching this whole thing unfold. She's in this little skirt. She turns over. I'm ready to crown her 2 for 2 on Ass of the Week in this little mini upskirt.
She knew what she was doing.
Then we leave that whole situation with Mariah and James. I'm writing down, about to crown her a 2 for 2 winner of Ass of the Week, but we get Zara in a cheetah print bikini being lifted by Kieran as he squats, giving me a 2 for 1. Ass of the Week. Ass of the Week. Of the Week.
I wasn't even ready for that. What an absolute story that was painted by our fair Mixie there.
I was ready, man. She had a beautiful underskirt cheek. When she rolled over and she was flirting with James, I'm sitting there like, I gotta give it to her. 2 for 2. She's going for a run. She's making a run with it.
Man, Zaza.
But we got a Zaza and Kieran double ass. I got double full cheeks. to the
Has that
camera.
ever happened before on this show?
I don't think so.
It just makes me think that they're trying to put stuff in for the number one. They realized the chaos that went on a little bit before that, and they're like, we need to give them more of the fun stuff that the number one is about, right? We need to give some ass of the week. We need to do a double ass of the week. We can't have them sitting there talking about Mariah and did she cheat or not cheat and why she should be crying or why should I be crying for that long. We need to give them that good shit. And they did that. And then they were like, okay, you want another one? Number one?
Mm-hmm.
You want something else? How about we play a new game called Is Michelle a big fan of the number one? Or does she really not know Zara's name is Zara and not Zaza?
Dude, I love that she keeps calling her Zaza. It's great.
Michelle
I
called her
love it.
Zaza twice. And
It's so
I
good.
really want to message Michelle and be like, hey, obviously love you. But is everyone calling her Zaza? Or what's going on here? Because she's done it like twice now. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Michelle, let's go.
I think she's taking the necklace as a name tag.
Okay.
I think
As we did.
we did. And I will continue to say she's Zaza and Zara.
Yeah.
It's Berna Bertha, Zaza Zara. You know, this is what happens. But you're right. I don't know if Michelle knows her name
don't
is
know.
Zara. I don't.
Okay. So we're leaving this game and we're leaving the game on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, we are.
We don't know.
We're going to have to contact Michelle and get her official statement on it.
Oh my God.
Next episode, guys. Does Michelle
goodness.
know Zara's name? We'll have to find out.
We'll reach out. Yeah, just stay with us for another couple episodes. Yeah, just great. Before we get to the ending of all of this and we get to
The burn votes?
selection and all of the... I just want to say, as I was mentioning earlier, but Team USA being a bit messy. Mariah's with a UK guy.
A little.
Michelle's with a UK guy. Raven's with a UK guy. I don't know if this was done on purpose for some politicking, but you know what? You do you. It just looks a little messy, everybody, that we're going to say there's an alliance, but then we're canoodling with the other side. I know I stated that before, but this was like, I was like, oh, all three of these people are now in this kind of collection of what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We head to the elimination floor mix.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to mention before the burning.
Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Sorry, what?
The ladies are dressed. Y'all ain't going in. Why were they dressed? Why were they dressed for why? Why? These are the little things that bother me.
I agree.
These are the little things that bother me. Because next week, there was a lot of people not dressed. So why were the ladies dressed?
There was a lot of people not dressed, but there's all of these people stressing out that potentially a girl is going to get called down, but they're in jeans.
They're in jeans.
This
If
isn't
they made you
season
dress last
6.
week, they would make you dress this week. So, very confused. And I don't really know what to do with it, honestly. I just don't know what to do with it.
I didn't understand that. That upset me just as much as I'm glad you brought it up, and we'll talk about it right now. Episode 5, there's this whole stress about, oh, maybe their partners are going in. Why aren't they dressed then? But they were dressed last time when TJ specifically said it was a guy's elimination. What are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing. We're burning votes. That's what we're doing. We're burning votes.
And we're burning votes. Okay. The burn votes,
damn
which
it.
again also happens in episode 5.
God damn it.
Let's just talk about burn votes in general right now.
Okay.
I understand the frustration that you're having. I feel the same frustration. I blame the game. If there is no
You're right.
issue with a burn vote, if they get no backfire on these burn votes, then they're going to burn vote. And to be honest with you, I can't fucking blame them for that.
Yeah, I get it. I 100% get it. I guess my frustration is we had such a good system in USA.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand the reasoning why you want them to say it out loud is so you hope that you get a situation that happened in episode 5.
Yeah.
That's what you want. However, you get that by doing what you did in 5, that the winners get to pick somebody who immediately goes down. What you don't get it at is when you do this in public on the floor and then everybody just rattles off the same name and they don't want to call it out. So they go, oh, yeah, I'm just going to burn on Emmanuel. And it's like, vote for somebody. Vote for somebody. You know?
But now they're like playing this game where like I said your name last week, so I'm going to say it this week. You burned on the same person 2 weeks in a row. Call it like it is. Okay?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
And Kieran says it in our interview later as well. These people get mad that everybody's burn voting, and then they go and then burn vote the next episode.
Yep. So
Stick to a lane and do it. If you're going to burn vote, if there's no issue with burn voting, then go ahead and fucking do it. If you're not going to burn vote, you're going to get mad that other people are burn voting, and then you get into and burn vote next week. The fuck?
Yeah, it's just that two-faced thing of where you're on a TV show like this, and just like we said with USA, when it suits you, it's okay for anything, to do anything, to say anything, to be like, oh, I didn't try to put you in, Tori. Yeah, you definitely did try to do that. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not my fault. I didn't make that deal. Yes, your alliance made the deal, so technically you also made the deal. Like, it benefits you in this scenario, so you're not angry about it. Mm-hmm. But you're right. It's the game setup. It's the game format of it. I think it should always be a silent vote like they do on Survivor. Do that. And if you want to do where the winners get to pick somebody, then you can do that. You know, the winners can pick somebody.
They vote Huey in, which, okay.
Sad.
I was sad to see it happen. He goes for Kyland. Not who I was expecting, but then immediately remembered what happened in the first 2 minutes of the episode. And I was like, oh, well, duh. Yeah, they're going to go for Kyland. That makes sense.
Told us. He told us. Thoughts on this elimination, Mixie? This felt kind of Challenge USA to me.
It did. It was giving Diet Challenge. For sure it was giving Diet Challenge.
Why? You just had the ladies like fight in the sand over puzzle pieces. Then it's like, we're going to play a carnival game elimination. I was like, okay.
You're right. It was very carnival game. Nothing made me laugh harder this episode than when Huey ate shit over a basket. I was like, this is the most Huey situation I've seen in a while.
Did it like 8 times. They replayed it like 8 times for this guy. Honestly, I thought he fell twice. And then I was like, oh no, they're just showing the replay for the 5th time from every camera that they had shooting in that general vicinity. They're like, all right, Kate, take camera 6 from that view. Take camera 7 from that view. Give me his GoPro. Give me the one from inside the basket where we can almost see up his pantaloons. Give me all the angles of this poor guy.
Yep.
Poor guy in this elimination.
Yeah, and I knew he was going to lose.
On this, damn, I would be upset. Yeah. It's just, what a fluke. It's literally a carnival game where you push like a bowling ball and it's got to go over the thing and not come back over. But then there's long ones and short ones. And I think the misstep on some of the strategy was like, I think Huey was trying to go to each one and not do, I'm going to do all of the long ones first so I get that pace down and then come back around. But this was just, and then he was like waiting to go down until the thing, and they're like, just go down as soon as you do it.
Yeah.
It was okay to watch. But I think me and you both knew what was going to happen.
I knew it immediately. I mean, they kind of set it up a lot in this episode as to who was going to go home and what was going to happen. Very sad to see Huey go. I love Huey. He is a great addition to the social game and just the general parties and stuff. I just love Huey being around. I can see why the challengers don't like him. He does seem to talk a lot, but that's great for us and not great for them. I am still indifferent on Kylan. Sometimes I like him. Other times I'm like, you're a wet blanket. But we'll see what happens.
That's what I was going to say. It's just like, he like will smile in his interview, but I don't hear him smiling when he talks. Does that make sense?
That 100% makes sense.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm like, I feel like he's a nice, good guy, but he just kind of gives me nothing. And Horacio's a nice, good guy, but he at least gives me some shit.
That's true. He kind of does the same thing sometimes. You're
He does.
absolutely correct. Here's the thing that kind of threw me on Kyland. Like, at the end, he's like, you stop talking bad about Huey. He's a good competitor. And I was like, well, I mean, is he though? We just saw what happened here. I mean,
see that again. Brent and Bertha said something like, "I've seen Huey turn it on," and I'm like, "When? When?"
When he was climbing, like clearly you were setting up the first couple episodes with everything you were giving us about Huey and his backstory in the one episode, and it didn't play out.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can see that if you understand how they do these shows. But I was just like, we don't say this for everybody else. I'm sure this is said all the time. Is this just to like, I feel like this is more for the audience than it is for anything else. It's like telling us like, why did we bring Huey back? And it's like, oh, because he's a good competitor. And I'm like, but then you didn't show me anything.
I never saw really anything on that. And most of the stuff I saw of him was people being like, Huey just won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and that's fine. Then make the story about that. Then that's funny.
Then
that's funny,
exactly.
Right? It's like what we do about Josh. Everybody's like, oh, Josh is a good competitor. I'm like, when have we seen that?
He's good at crying.
There we go. There we go.
Glass half full.
Yeah, so that is the end of that episode. Boy.
Yes.
And now that was part of MTV's decision. Some believe.
Oh yeah, that's right. We didn't even discuss that whole thing.
Yeah, so here's what happened, gang.
Peel the curtain back for him.
We were given episode 3, and we said we were going to do double episodes. So we needed 3 to do that.
Yes.
We made our plan, we did our recording, and then they're like, "Oh, here's another one." And we're like, "Oh.
Yeah.
What now?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, that'll be on Wednesday." And we're like, "So there's double episodes." I little emailed them back, double episodes. They go, yeah. I was like, "Okay."
But we had already recorded at this point, guys.
Yeah. Like it was already designed that we're going to do 2. It's like, do we just add the third one to this? Like, I don't see how that would be such a long thing. We're like, no, we're going to do 2. So we'll add it to that. So that's why you only got that one for that week. So not to throw you for a loop, but
we are doing 2 episodes. Who knows what the fuck MTV's doing, but we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
When we got the one for this week, we're like, great, there's only one. We're good.
Yeah.
Great. We're Gucci. Let's do this. We're on episode 5, Nick.
Episode 5, Countdown to Chaos. As you said, the countdown started and we had like 13 hours?
Something like that.
I feel like that's not the most of a countdown. I wish that they had the clock going through the whole thing. Like
since they showed up in the house. Thank you.
But like, it's not like they knew what chaos was, so it doesn't really matter.
Nope. That would have been the perfect thing to do. And also, the audience for the first 4 episodes would have been like, what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening? Now, if you wanted to like tease us a little bit in the trailer or at the end of episode 4, you could have just had like some sort of supercut. And at the end, TJ goes, now we're in chaos. And you just hear CT's like mumble laugh, like, and people are like, is that fucking CT's voice?
Yeah,
Again, let us help you. We just want to make the best show for you as well.
It really.
There's just so many people I feel working on this show that there's no like cohesive like messaging coming out of one person. Like, all right, we have our season. How can we best suit this? And I guarantee you there was somebody in research being like, well, if you don't show that the veterans are coming, nobody's going to watch. Then fuck them. Then they don't deserve to get that reward live in the moment.
And you guys put it on Paramount Plus and they can go back and watch it. Now you got people on your streaming service.
There you go. And you know what? That's the reward. You'd be like, you cannot not watch a season of the challenge. Because you decided, oh, I need the vets to watch. You got spoiled on that on Twitter.
Yep.
And the one season you didn't watch because there wasn't 3 or 4 vets who do nothing for the first 8 weeks of the show other than don't take shots at anybody and they're not messy, is this. This is your reward for not watching. Sorry, fuck you. We reward people who watch every single season.
I agree.
That's what we get. It's not, again, not complicated. maybe we need some changes up at the top of the pyramid here.
Steven, speaking of complications, you know what was complicated?
Oh,
Fitting all of Nerese's alliance into one image.
it's too damn big. It's
I'm
too
sorry.
damn big.
Did I hear too many motherfucking people?
Also, we're gonna speed over the fact that Raven is now all of a sudden part of your alliance. After you were like, that bitch, that fucking dumb bitch, bitch, that cheating, two-timing bitch who's seeing somebody from the other alliance, bitch. That's what you said. That's basically how you treated her 2 weeks ago. And now she's in your graphic. And now you're like, oh, yay, hugs, great. Raven's on my alliance now.
Yeah, all of a sudden Raven wins a daily and they're all like, oh, but we're safe because Raven is looking out for us, even though TJ specifically said it's going to be a male's elimination. We'll get there.
No, she's not. What world do you think she's going to look out for you? She didn't look out for you the last time it was a male's week either.
Yeah. I mean, the first, 10 minutes was just talking about alliances again. I'm just like, ugh, I got it.
There was a great part. 2 things here for the number one that they always put in to give us great talking points. One, when the countdown clock started, they come in and did you see somebody was like holding this big sheet of like plexiglass over the table?
Yep.
Now, obviously, my mind starts racing.
Oh, I know. I think I know, but go ahead.
So it's one of 2 things.
Uh-huh.
The thing that it probably is that I don't want it to be because it's not as fun.
Yeah, it's boring.
It's boring. It's a production thing of that table is very shiny, and when you have those lights above it, you get horrible glares that shine back up into the camera. So I think it's for that. I'm pretty sure it's for that. Now, what do I want it to be, Mixie? I want it to be the fact that they don't trust these motherfuckers not to like seriously harm this table, that they want to return to the Croatian IKEA and or Costco and get their money back when the show wraps. Because that was a nice ass table. They're like, we can't trust you. We got to put this big. They're like treating them like 5-year-olds. You put your placemat out for your 5-year-olds so they can spill their SpaghettiOs all over it.
I think it's a easy cleanup, lack of glare situation. I think it's a toddler glare 2-for-1 special.
Okay. Toddler glare 2-for-1.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, let's just throw another thing in. What was the number one love? The number one loves to just throw somebody in at the beginning of the episode for them to just go, oh, well, nice seeing you on the show. And they try to do that with Asaf. He's like, blah, blah. I was like, oh, Asaf, I hope you find a real job here after getting sent home on the show. Hope you find that for yourself, buddy. It was nice seeing you on the show. I was convinced Asaf was going home immediately.
So confused by this whole thing. This is where it starts getting confusing for me. The him and Corey story. Asaf keeps being like, we're best friends. Corey will never do anything to me. He's my number one. Then later on, we see Jay say, nobody knows this, but Asaf and I see each other once a week, which no chance nobody knows that. No chance.
Because I think they've been public on social media.
That's what I'm saying. He has a bunch of selfie photos. What is he taking those for himself? So that they can scrapbook together and have their secret little scrapbook? No, he's posting this shit online. No chance these people don't know that they're friends. Whatever. But the way Asaf is talking about Corey at this point, it's like they've known each other for forever, which I kept during this part being like, how do they know each other? And we'll get there.
Oh, okay. I do also want to state at this point, I think this is the first time I can remember. We are in episode 5.
Yes.
And everyone in their confessionals are still wearing the same clothing.
Yes.
I don't think this can be understated enough because what we're getting is a lot of revisionist history.
Mm-hmm.
The reason to do those ITMs is because they're in the moments.
Yes. That's what that stands for.
So, of course, Asaf now is going to be like, oh, we're best friends. Because he believed it. For 5 weeks on the show, or at least in our time, they might have been buddy-buddy. But now he's like, oh, I get to use all this to talk shit about him. The same thing with Berna Bertha. The same thing with Nerys. It's like, I would have liked to see what you said week 2 about Raven.
Yes.
But now I feel like you're back in with Raven, so you're not going to. So for you to be in the ITM being like, oh, Raven, I'm like, no, this is what you said there. And I believe that was part of the whole situation with all the ladies on Twitter was like, oh, you said this in your confession, that. I was like, yeah, but everybody fucking does that. But when we're like saving up these confessions to do almost like All-Star Show at one time,
Yep.
there's going to be some revisionist history going on here. People changing their minds from what they said in the moment.
Or like overstating, like I feel like Asaf is doing, overstating his connection to Corey to make this
Corey look bad.
backstab
Yes.
look way worse than it was.
Yeah, I can see that. Is that where you were going, what you were saying earlier? Like,
Yeah, I mean, we can go right to it if we want. Before we talk about the daily, let's just jump to it. We know Corey and Raven win.
yes.
Corey says he's not going to say certain names. Raven doesn't want to say Kieran. Okay, fine. So Corey out of nowhere says Asaf. We get what...
And do you believe that was really, you said out of nowhere? To me, that did strike me, other than we're seeing Asaf at the beginning of the show.
According to the edit, out of nowhere.
It, to me, was also out of nowhere because I am really been made to believe up until this point that Corey is full Team USA.
Yes.
And it is pretty clear, would you agree, that he is anything but Team USA at this point?
Well, see, okay. I see him towing a line between Team USA and Spies, Lies, and Allies, which I'm seeing other people do.
Okay.
Other people are towing a line between people like Emmanuel and Berna, and Huey was part of that as well. Like Corey wasn't going to vote Huey in and gave him his word and all of that stuff. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Corey's playing this line. We see Corey say Asaf. Immediately I'm thinking, I feel like we're being told something that's not true, because Corey to me is a very calculated player. I don't see him just taking a stab in the dark. I feel like something is going on in the back end that he has decided to go for Asaf.
To pick Asaf. Okay.
Asaf freaks out. He starts yelling at Corey.
Reasonable.
They're like, okay, Asaf's the ones that's picked. You brought it up later. The cameras were down. Asaf starts going off on Corey. Now, this is when I officially decided that we were being lied to in some way, shape, or form on this.
Okay. Break it down.
Asaf is yelling at Corey. Corey's like smiling and kind of laughing and being like, dude, you look crazy. And Asaf keeps going off on and on and on. Corey specifically says, I met you 2 weeks ago.
Right.
If that is the case, then this whole best friends narrative doesn't make any sense, because Asaf and Jay, as they've stated, have hung out a bunch of times, and we've only heard Jay talk about Asaf in these ITMs. We did not hear Asaf talk about Jay, really at all, other than saying he's in an alliance with him. It's not this like buddy thing. He's painting it with Corey. Corey votes him in. So clearly they didn't know each other up until when they came into this house, and they've known each other for 2 weeks in this house. Maybe they're roommates. Maybe they're staying in the same area. Maybe they're doing the same activities at the same time. And Asaf is getting a different understanding of them just being in the same room than Corey is. And Corey has this alliance to USA and this alliance to all of these people from Spies, Lies, and Allies.
There it is, though.
But he has to keep these Spies, Lies, and Allies people he's known for way longer than 2 weeks. And we saw Nerys's graphic that there was way too many motherfuckers on this American alliance. So I think Corey's like, I think I have a stronger connection to some of these international people that are from Spies, Lies, and Allies than I do to a guy I met 2 weeks ago.
But the Spies, Lies, and Allies people are on the American alliance, no?
And they're on the international alliance. They have Berna. they have Emmanuel.
Well, Berna and Emmanuel, one of my notes from earlier, because they showed us the UK alliance, was Big T, Callum, James, Melissa, Zaza, and Kieran. There was no Emmanuel or Berna Bertha. And I think they have both also said that they feel isolated and they don't really know where they are. Remember the whole thing last time was like, oh, I don't know where they stand. I don't know what Berna Bertha is. And it's like, well, I feel like you know who her friends are. My issue, though, is you're right. Corey is very well thought out. But every time I see him, and that might not be fair because they keep showing whenever there's like a deliberation or talk about strategy, there's always somebody from the other alliance in the rooms.
Because this weird, like, past seasons thing is happening. But Asaf doesn't have anybody from his past season. So since he doesn't have any connection to other people,
he's
kind of what
Jay.
Kylan was talking about, outside of Jay, kind of what Kylan was talking about, there's really no one that's going to get that mad at Corey. Whereas if he does go for like an Emmanuel in that situation, because I know they kind of discussed that a little, Berna's going to get mad. The people in the U.S. alliance that also are in the Spies, Lies, and Allies alliance are going to get mad. Whereas with Asaf, sure, maybe Jay and a couple of people might be a bit annoyed, but I think they'd get a lot more mad at him taking a stab at Emmanuel than at Asaf.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I disagree because all we've been sold is this. And again, for us, we've been sold this U.S. alliance. And we saw it in the first week. It's like, well, you ride with us and not. And then it's like, well, there's the UK guys.
But Mariah's doing whatever the fuck she wants.
But that is Mariah acting
Raven's
rogue,
doing whatever the fuck she wants.
Exactly. And they have already been kind of like, hey, what are you doing? And even Michelle's like, hey, what are you doing?
I don't know.
This is really fucking messy. The question I have, where does James rank? You're going to go with Asaf before James?
I think that he knows that James has the ability to come back and calm him down. Whereas Asaf probably isn't going to do as well in most eliminations compared to James. So it's a safer call out to call out Asaf. Because sure, maybe Asaf wins and calls him down. I like Asaf a lot, but I feel like he is kind of an easy target to make an enemy out of, because if I was a betting man, and as much as I like Asaf, I do not think he would be hard to beat in an elimination. We cannot sit here and act like he would have even touched Jordan if his name had been called in that elimination.
No, but James would have lost much quicker. Much quicker.
But that's a gamble on it being an endurance thing. I feel like an endurance thing, a strength thing. Asaf is losing on both of those. I haven't really seen him play smart.
I just think, and again, we can move on after this because I think we're ping-ponging off the same thing. I think what Corey has done here was a bad game move, because I think everybody in the U.S. alliance was under the understanding that he's with us and Asaf is with us. Kieran's not with us. James is not with us. Emmanuel's not with us.
Yeah.
You have three. And if your first thing was to say, I can't say Kieran's name, then I go, hold on, that's the one? Because then Raven came back and was like, hey, he said, I can't say this person. I can't say that person.
He showed his cards, for
he
sure.
He showed all of his cards.
100% he showed his cards.
And there are way more in the U.S. alliance than that. And for somebody to be that smart, who makes us want to think he's smart, yeah, I can have all these numbers, but this is what you do when you get to the fifth person in line, and you're like, hey, I got to say so-and-so's name. So you're not going back. You basically just said, oh, I know there's way more people on the U.S. alliance, and most of y'all think I'm working with you. I'm going to go with the team that has less people on it, that has less men on it. And now all the men on the USA team, which is not a lot because it's very female heavy, and all the females can just vote for you next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And listen, you pissed off Jay, who is clearly the ringleader of that. You pissed off Michelle because they're connected in this whole, oh, I don't know if the partners are going to go, and it's chaos. Who knows? Because who the fuck knows what's going on? you pissed off the 2 ringleaders of USA. And that's a dumb thing to do. I don't know. That's just my take on it. So let the chaos begin, Mix.
The chaos has begun. Let's talk about the daily. Before the daily starts, did you notice TJ said, and I wrote this down and we found out later, TJ says specifically, as of now, the prize pot is $406,000. And I was like, what do you mean as of now? Because we've moved past the part where they're adding money to the prize pot. So what do you mean? It made me think. Ed gave us yet another bitch please hairstyle. The
Love
hair
it.
pieces are out.
Great.
He's
great,
ready
good
to
for him.
rumble. What did
Great
you
for him.
think of this daily?
Loved it a lot. I know you felt ill.
I did text you. I had to. I'm so curious if other people had this problem. I had to pause it halfway through and like go outside and get some fresh air. It made me so insanely nauseous to watch it. I think it was the GoPros that really did me in because I could really see the spin of it versus like watching it straight on and seeing them spin around. I'm like in the spin zone when I'm in their fucking helmet. Oh my God, I was so nauseous.
I didn't mind it. I was just like, wow, this drone pilot is getting all of the shots. All of the shots. Can you imagine what this would have looked like if we did not have the drone pilot for this?
I mean, I will give credit where it's due. An insanely talented drone driver, for sure. But that does not discredit the fact that I thought I was going to vomit. I get car sick very easily.
Okay.
Like me being on that thing would have ended in vomiting for sure.
Nice. Remember that, everybody.
Yeah.
If you
It's
see
an
Mixie in your town, just invite her to the local fair and put her on some rides. She'll throw up.
Easily. Yeah, I did like it. I liked the concept of it. I liked the strategy that was needed for it. It was entertaining to watch when I wasn't nauseous, which was about 30 seconds of it.
We're going to go over 2 major points that I have here. One is a hee-hee-ha-ha, I feel. And
Ooh,
another one
hee-hee-ha-ha.
just drove me insane to the point where I felt like, A, I understand what's happening. B, I clearly do not understand what's happening. C, let me rewind because I think I saw something that proves that I know what I was talking about the first time, but I'm not 100% sure. And then I was like, yes, I have confirmed that moment. And now I'm just enraged because we could have handled this a lot better. So we'll go back to the first one I said.
Okay. Hee hee ha ha.
The hee hee ha ha. Corey says, I'm the opposite of an adrenaline junkie. I don't like heights. I don't like spinning or being out of the control. And I was like, nothing about Corey or his personality, his general demeanor, or the tone in his voice gives this away at all.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting him to be that way, which, by the way, same.
I was just like, yeah, I think we got it, man.
Shock.
Until you yell at us off a little bit later, we got it. Because you have been the same cadence of your talking this entire thing. Even when the girl said they were going to burn roach, you're like, well, maybe we'll have to see what happens about that. And I was like, man, adrenaline junkie, that guy right there. Bet you he loves a roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely. I that was a great line. And for him to have done so well in this when he clearly stated that he hates this shit was great.
I think he was just like, get me off of this, drop all the rings. And so what happens there is I'm assuming, I think as everybody across America did, because they're like, oh, you get 1 ring on this, you get 10 points. You get 1 ring on this, you get 5 points. So he drops all of those like 90 rings onto that thing and it falls over and the graphic says plus 10. And I go, huh? Plus 10? No. There was way more on there. I go, wait a second. And I rewound it and I was like, yeah, there was I thought maybe because it fell over, only 1 stayed on there. And then he put a couple of on the 5 that were touching. I was like, hold on, does it not matter how many you get on there? And then I was like, this is some bullshit then. If they get 8 rings on, this is nothing. And then they go down and then the next group goes up. And then somebody else later gets a bunch and I go, hold on, because I looked at that graphic and the graphic like fluttered up. And I was like, oh, are they putting up within like a few frames of each other, 5 on the graphic, a bunch of times?
Oh my God.
Walter!
Pressed 8,000 buttons.
Walter!
I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Walter
I'm like,
appearance.
please don't step on my laptop. Please don't step on. Are you coming back again for a round 2? Buddy.
Walter!
Now you have to say hi. Oh, goodness.
Hey, Walter! Oh, everybody, it's the Walter break.
It's
our
Walter break. Surprise Walter break.
Look
Okay,
at that.
okay, okay.
Oh, now he
You
wants to
broke
go.
in. You broke in. I need you not to do that. So sorry. I saw him and I was like, oh, fuck.
Walter, that's our guy. So the graphic comes up and it like flutters. There's a bunch of them. And I go, oh, wait.
Yes.
Are you just showing me that 5 graphic coming up like 8 times in the corner, but you're not going to show me how many were on? Who greenlit this? Just say plus 40. 5 times 8 equals 40.
They didn't want us to know who won, but it didn't
Exactly
matter
what it
because
is.
it was so clear that they had won because everybody else did so shit that like there wasn't any. And TJ even said it when he announced the winner. He was like, they blew him out of the water.
But then, to me, put them at the end. We don't know the order these fucks went in. Actually, we do, because this took forever, and you can see the sun
came
setting.
down. Yeah, it was golden hour when they won. I was like, oh, wow, look at them in the
They got
gold.
there. Now, I may or may not have spent 25 minutes yesterday on Google Maps trying to find the airport that they did this at. Did I find it? Yes. Did I get a unique sense of satisfaction upon doing that and Google Street Viewing and be like, it's right there.
I mean, good for you. It's impressive.
God, I felt so good doing that. Yeah, hell yeah.
That had to have taken them like 12 hours.
For not to mention the setup. That had to be set up the day before.
Yep.
Everything was tested the day before, but then strapping those people in probably took them like 30 to 45 minutes each time to strap them in, strap them out. Like that was a lot of stuff that went into getting that and getting the camera people back in the situation, making sure the drones were charged. Like this is a big, and that's the thing to me. Sometimes these dailies, like, and even last week with the swimming thing, to like go bury all those pieces under the water and build these buoys and all this shit. And that for it to be like 10 minutes of this like hour and 30-minute show, I just feel bad for like the art department and the people who come up with this. Like that rig to build took them like probably a week and a half, 2 weeks to build that truck and that rig and to safety test it. And then it's like 45 seconds because it's like, oh, that one person got a shitload of rings. It's kind of disappointing. I feel bad that people come up with this. That it's like they watch the edit and they're like, hold on, I worked for 2 weeks and you used like 3 minutes of this as the show?
Incredibly frustrating. I'd be pissed too.
Damn. We already talked about Corey and Raven them getting power.
Yep.
Do you like the fact that they got to do it right then and there? They had to pick it there. They couldn't go home.
I do. I'm curious if they'll keep it this way. Or if they just did it like this the first time, because TJ did say like chaos is going to be teams, individual, pairs.
Yeah,
like what's going to happen? Like who knows what'll go on? It's chaos. It is chaos. But I did, for this situation, I did like it. I do think now, like, everybody's gonna kind of like meet with their alliances before and be like, if you win, it's probably gonna be girls, and they're probably gonna have to go against a vet, and we should probably do it like this. I mean, now that the first round is done, the card is in front of them, you know? Like, they know what's going on.
You're gonna put somebody down, but, like, you can put somebody down, but they might not even go into the elimination, so let's be, like... Let's make sure we're getting 2 of the girls that are on the other alliance.
Yep.
Because it could still pick the chaos one. And I have to imagine we pick the chaos one and whoever the vet is probably gets to go. It's you. That's what I'm guessing.
That's what you think. I think because he never said that Corey was safe, I think whoever won
Wow.
the Daily's name
No, they
is
said they
on
were
it.
safe.
They said they couldn't vote in the group vote.
I thought they said they were safe. You're the only two safe from elimination.
I don't remember safe being said. If it
Okay.
is, then my theory is off. But I think it'd be hilarious if the person that won the Daily and sent somebody in there could potentially be the one pulled. I mean, everybody's
shit,
fucked.
that'd be great. That'd be great. Or, depending on the setups, you could have had 3 people doing that elimination. Chaos is you're both playing
Against one?
against one. And if
Oh, yeah.
you get it, you all get to stay, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You get to stay, you go back in the house. That other person doesn't get any money or something like that. Please God, let that be one that gets picked.
That would be fun. That would totally be fun. Oh, they're going to, not that it's rigged or anything.
No, not that they could be like, pick the one in the middle.
No
or anything
chance we get out of this without seeing what that
And the
third
chaos isn't
stick was
pulled.
gonna
That's
be.
right. That's right.
We got a club scene, Steven.
We did
go
get
to
a
the
club
club.
scene. Thank God we got a club scene. I think
Fits.
so many fits. I love that somebody set it up like, hey, don't be upset. We're going to a club. It was like, hell yeah, we're going to a club. Let's
Zaza said that. Zaza's
course
like,
Zaza
let's have
said
fun.
Zaza, queen that she is like, hey, we're going to a club. Let's all dress up. Let's all get our fits on. Let's all walk out together. Let's go to a club. Same
And
club we always go to, but we went to the club.
Yes. We finally see what we knew was coming. Nerys and Horacio have finally started to light their little flame. It is a flutter. Olivia immediately has some things to say about it.
She does. I feel like we're setting something up.
I do too. You know, a lot of things are being said on Twitter, so it's pretty clear that there's at some point a line in the sand is going to be drawn.
Yes, very much so.
I have a
like
feeling it's about this.
I have a feeling at some point, maybe our guy has a decision to make, and it doesn't go Olivia's way. I
could see that.
If they're not friends that much anymore, I feel like that's the only thing that could kind of happen.
Speaking of things that I was not expecting, along with the Nerys-Olivia feud that we feel is pending, Nerys gives Horacio quite the lap dance and becomes this week's
Obviously.
Ass of the Week. Ass of the Week. Dessert. It was hard
Boy.
to see her ass, I will state, considering the camo pants she had on. But I was able to see that pussy pop, and it was nice. She's so hot. Holy shit.
Obviously, I have eyes. Horacio has eyes. There was a few things that they kind of set up here. Was like, wasn't it Jay who was like, hey man, she's a party girl. I don't think you're not ready for what this will bring to your life, which I think is very true. And 2, Olivia was like, they've known each other for a while. I feel like something might have happened before. But as she has stated in our interview, he's not that type of guy. And I think there was a time where he was kind of seeing somebody. She's obviously been seeing people before that. But yeah, you get in the challenge house and, you know.
Things happen.
You know, just in the club, things can happen. The same way that MTV can just have a cameraman run a slow-mo camera right at Melissa where her nip is clearly out.
Yeah.
And they had to blur that sucker. And tell you what, most people probably would not have seen the blur job.
Oh, I saw it immediately.
We saw it. I was like,
if your eyes didn't go directly to her tits.
how could her tit not be out? How could it not have escaped? And I was like, well, I don't see it. And then as we get closer, I was like, there's a bit of a blur there. I was like, why put that in?
Well, I think at the time somebody was saying like, oh, Kylan's falling in love with Melissa, or they're trying to like act like they're getting serious or something. Big T said something like, I'm going to throw you in so I can have Melissa back to myself or something. I don't know. They're trying to paint this picture that these two are like getting serious. No chance.
No chance that last beyond the house. No chance
No
whatsoever.
chance, Lance.
And unfortunately, Kylan's going to think it's going to be something outside of the house. He's going to fall deeply in love with her. Something's going to happen to this relationship, I feel like, and it's going to be great. There was a point there where I thought they were going to kiss in the club, and I was going to lose my goddamn mind after 2 weeks ago. I was like, if they show these two fucking kissing in the club, I'm going to lose it. I'm just absolutely going to lose it at this point. I'm just going to lose it.
Speaking of losing it, our overreacting Queen Michelle came back.
Whoa.
I am going to state.
No, I won't stand for this. Go ahead.
I love Michelle. I love that she overreacts sometimes. I'm not mad at it. It was funny. But girl, TJ specifically said it was a guy's thing. He specifically said to pick a guy. Sure, you could have a tiny little inkling, but there was a lot of pushing that happened in that situation. Again, pro Michelle, love Michelle. Honestly, thought it was hilarious how much she was freaking out over this.
I think it's fair. We don't know what chaos is. Michelle has done this enough times to know if we don't know what the format is going to be, it can be anything. They should just pick a guy's name to go into elimination.
Yes.
That might have meant we don't want to let the girls know that they have to compete here. We want you to
totally.
Just pick a guy. And I think Michelle was totally within her right to be like, hey, I could have gone in. And then his response was, as soon as he said that, I didn't think that you could go in at all. And I'm like, if you're that smart, I'm not buying it. I didn't get that. He started to get upset. He started to cry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying that his tears, at least me, that were related to that. I think he realized I probably had another move here. I think I've really exposed my game.
Yeah.
And I really think I fucked up because we had to make that decision in the moment. If I had the next 6 hours to make a decision, and that's why I love TJ said right then, and that still probably took him 20 minutes to make that decision.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't think we're here. I think he would have said James. That was the safer option there.
It is interesting to me that he didn't pick James or Callum, to be honest with you. But again, I think maybe he was thinking like, oh, Callum's with Michelle. I don't want to hurt Michelle. I believe his tears. Here's the issue. And maybe this is why I feel like I'm saying that Michelle is an overreacting queen in this situation. Again, we're back to the problem that we've continuously stated this episode and previous episodes. Because of the edit, I know Jordan's coming. So
yes.
I know that Michelle is fine.
That's a good point.
So this whole like drama between Michelle and Corey, I probably would have been way more invested in it and been thinking a lot deeper on it if I didn't already know while sitting here watching this that Jordan's coming down.
And I think that's another great example of why they screwed themselves with this.
Yeah.
I have to imagine this comes back next week. Like Corey, I think Corey's days are very much numbered at this point.
I think this on top of the like all of this stuff.
Yes.
I think he'll at least get
1,000%.
called down.
Yeah.
Or called out.
Asaf didn't even have to go into the elimination. Asaf's going to come back into the house like a man scorned, even though sometimes he'll dress up like a woman scorned. That would be great if he called him down like that. That'd be fucking hysterical. He's going to go in. He's not going to let that up. He's got Jay as his buddy. Jay's going to rally the troops and go, listen, this guy's not with us.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This guy is clearly not with us.
Yeah, he's
and
playing
we
with
have
other
more
people.
than enough numbers to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle's going to rally the ladies, and the ladies are going to go, none of us are dating him. We're dating all the other international guys.
Mm-hmm.
Fine with me.
Yep.
And he's gone. He's in next time. And I think he's in the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that. Because the only way to do it is if you win the daily. And I don't know if he's going to be able to pull that off every single week.
Well, it's going to depend on so many factors because it's chaos. So we don't know.
I think you're right. He's smart. He started playing the scenarios and I got back to the house like, fuck, I fucked up. And he's like, now Michelle's pissed at me. And I think Michelle's going to be vindictive. And I think he was like, it hurts me that you don't trust me. I'm like, well, it hurts me that you fucked over our alliance, man. That's
Yeah.
the only name of the game.
Yep.
Why
Yep.
do you think we have an alliance if you can just go, I'm going to pick the other people? It was...
It was just way too early for him to show his cards, too. I'm sure he went into way too much detail with Raven that we didn't see. I mean, Raven specifically said, like, I know who he's working with.
Yeah. Because
So
I don't think he's working with Team USA.
I don't either.
I think he's over there gathering information, and he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what CT does and play both sides. But that's CT.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks they can play the fence. The only person that works for is CT because he's CT and nobody wants to put him in the elimination.
Yeah, when your actions show that you're like a fucking badass, you can kind of do that shit.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Oh my God. But that's what that was. There was absolute craziness at the club, some crying. We come back. There's people talking to each other, people that are not in their alliances about the other alliances, saying, "Hey, do you want to be cool? Can I trust you?" And it's like, you guys aren't even on the same. Why are y'all in the same room talking about this shit?
Yeah,
Makes me think maybe these alliances aren't as clear as they're showing them to be for us.
I think this is a heavily edited season, to be honest with you. There's a lot of shit that's not making sense. And like you said, these ITMs are so many episodes long. It's just, they're painting a picture. And some of the things they're talking about in these ITMs, I'm like, why were you being asked questions about this stuff unless they already knew what they were trying to like paint, which means they had a lot of an idea of what the edit was going to be at that point, which means a lot was shot already.
So maybe they're trying to do two different things. Maybe they're like, hey, instead of doing this like once a week for these ITMs, because that eats up a lot of our time, how about we do it every, 6 episodes or so? I'd like to see when the outfits change.
Yep, I'm going to keep an eye out for it too.
Can you imagine we get to the end of the season, it's the same ITM the entire fucking way through?
I mean, if that's the case, I'm gonna be pretty fucking pissed, because then they're gonna have pretty much already laid out exactly what they've wanted, and what we're watching is a very produced storyline. And if there's one thing we at the right reality, like, it's some sort of reality to our reality television and not being spoon-fed a specific way of viewing things. We get to the deliberation, as we said, that's turned into a vote.
I was like, we're voting. Okay. Asaf goes full into Corey, trying to defend, and Corey tries to defend himself instead of just sitting there going, whatever, man.
Yeah,
and just keep saying the same thing. I don't know why you need to do that point. Yeah, he keeps chirping at you, but just let it, like, that's never worked for anybody. You're going to say something dumb. And it wasn't Corey who said something dumb. It was Raven. Mm-hmm. Raven, after telling people earlier, I let him kind of do it. He told me there was 3 guys he was protecting. Yes. They were these people. She's like, wait a second. I'll expose myself too here.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, that's kind of on me. Raven, shut the fuck up.
You're also in the U.S. alliance that he is in.
Shut the fuck up. You wanted to say other people, and then he prevented that. So you go, hey, I wanted to say this person, but he said, no. He said, well, I'm not saying that person, which happens to be the person that I'm also kind of making out with a lot. Oh, no. Oh, I tried. Shut up. We've seen this for 3 weeks in this era, 4 weeks. Just don't say anything, Raymond. Just sit there and let the other guy take the bullets.
Mariah, same thing. What are you doing?
She doesn't have anybody like leading her, telling her what to do this time. Unlike last time where Fessy was like, hey, just shut up and I'll do everything for her.
Yeah, and then she got it with bananas.
And then, yes, she got it with bananas. And then she's like, I can play my own game. And it's like, well, if this is the version of the game you play, I don't know if that's what you want to do. I don't know. You again, it might work for you now, but eventually at some point, there's going to be people who are like, remember that vote that she did 3 weeks ago? If we're trying to split hairs, she protected him twice. And during the elimination, she's cheering for the people that we're not cheering for.
Yep.
This is very interesting. It's very interesting.
Not making sense to me.
Okay, before we get to Jordan's epic movie trailer as he walked in, which might have been the greatest movie trailer of all time.
So hype.
I think...
NFL, take notes.
I think I said out loud... Now, I wasn't. I was like, wow, I'm fucking rock hard watching this.
I like how you had to clarify that you weren't.
Wanted to make sure. Yeah, I take this seriously, but not that seriously, guys.
I'll say it. I was rock hard watching it. So incredibly hot. The trailer was hot. Some of the things he does during the elimination, I was like, you're so fucking hot. He's so hot.
He's so good.
Oh.
He's so good. The trash he was talking during this. Now, we're going to get to this in a little bit. So hold on. Before we get to that, I do want to state something that I think the viewers are like, how can you not mention that? There was about 1.7 seconds of something that appeared on my screen that I was like, pause. Pause, please. Colleen in like a bikini fit shot from side profile? Where are you hiding that, Colleen? Holy shit.
Colleen is just, again, loving that I'm not seeing her means she's got to be around for longer, right?
Ooh, Colleen.
Right? I love Colleen. She said something about you can't find love in the challenge house, and I was like, oh, one baby Hulk will teach you that, won't it?
Yeah, that was a mistake. But you know what?
It seems like a lot of these girls make the baby Hulk mistake.
I feel like you have to be with Baby Hulk in order to get called back on the show. Like
Maybe.
That's just the pattern we're seeing. You know what I mean?
It does seem to be the case.
All right, so we've already kind of said what happens. We all know what happens. Jordan comes out. The people react.
Amazing.
The way they should react, the way I wanted to react. There's a draw. We got to pull some sticks out of the sand. Who knows what's going in? And then they have to pull down somebody before that. Yes, Mixie. Yes, Mixie.
Sorry, I was raising my hand for the audio listeners.
Yes.
How did you feel about them taking $10,000 if they won?
Love that idea.
Loved it too.
Love the idea.
Best decision they've done so far was taking the 10 grand.
Obviously. It should be 20 as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I thought it was too little. And I'm
10
also
because
curious
there's
how
8
much
people
it
showing up.
is compared to how much they're paying them to come for one singular episode.
I have to think they flew them all out at the same time.
Oh.
And put them up at the same time because they have a lot of interviews and content with them.
Okay.
If we're just kind of going from that, I don't think they flew out like 4 of them on week 1 and then waited to week 2 to fly out the others, but they could have. They could have.
In my mind, that'd be cheaper because then they could just rotate 4 and 4 in the
hotel
rooms
and not doing hotel rooms for so long.
Yeah,
maybe they did do that. Yeah, so. Yeah, you're right. That could have been what happened. So Jordan's movie trailer happens after we find out Kieran is coming down. He in the deliberation, he's like, whatever, fuck it, I'll do it because he's like, I can beat us off. I'm fine with that. And then Jordan shows up.
Yeah,
Jordan shows up, and
Asaf wanted it too.
I think I've said this before. Of course, you would want that if you're Asaf. If you lose, you go, yeah, I lost to Jordan.
Yeah.
And if you win, people go, holy shit, you beat Jordan. It's not really a lose scenario. Like,
I mean, it's a little early in the season.
Yeah, but now you go, whatever. I got my appearance fee. It is what it is. I want this. If I beat him, they're going to bring me back. This is good for me. I now have the thing of like, well, don't set me in. I beat Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose, you're like, yeah, I lost. What was I supposed to do? This guy doesn't fucking lose in eliminations. So I would take the risk, I guess. Now, if this is like 3 weeks or 2 weeks before you think the final is happening, I'd be like,
nope.
I don't want that smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that smoke at all. How do we feel about how this went down? Because I think it was fucked up that they made somebody else come down into the sand knowing what was going to happen. Them voting for somebody in the deliberation, you've been voting for everybody else when they get there. Why not just keep that and then be like, oh, before you vote? I don't like that we put somebody else in. I don't really like this.
I like that we're putting somebody else
in.
I wish that they were doing it at the elimination, though. Like, I don't understand why all of a sudden deliberation has changed to the voting. Makes no sense to me. I guess they don't want them to see but they already got to see the first ladder
They saw
or
them
ring
last
or whatever
time.
the fuck.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me. Speaking of things that didn't make sense, Zaza, my girl, I love you. But she says at one point, did you catch what she said?
I don't think so.
She said, Jordan's done thousands of these eliminations. I don't do
remember.
maths, but I don't think that's how many he's done.
Seems a lot, Zaza.
I don't think that's
Seems a lot.
physically possible for
No.
him to have done thousands of them.
I
But
get where you're going.
I get the sentiment,
Yes. That's what's important.
but me
with
and
our girl
Zaza, we don't do maths. So can't blame her for that.
Let's talk about this style of what the elimination was. Now,
I liked it.
again, we're going to have some information coming from our guy Kieran here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about it after you guys hear that. I like it, but it seems like it can be kind of figured out. And if we're bringing in people like Jordan to do these, I want all bangers. I want all physical eliminations.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is not a physical elimination. You could push people.
Uh-huh.
I don't feel it got physical because when they started like putting them down on the ground, they're like break, reset.
Yeah,
I was like, no
didn't
fucking
like
resets.
that. Didn't like
fucking
that
resets.
at all. Bullshit. Agree.
And I
was
think
like, why
that's
are we
what
stopping?
Kieran's going to talk about in our interview. Is you're going to hear him go, I think there was some tomfoolery going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I buy it.
I do too.
I'm buying the tomfoolery. I think I even said to you before we interviewed him today, like, we sure that those lights turning on was as random as we think it might have been?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Steven, I feel like we should play our interview
Okay,
with Kieran
let's do
before
that.
we talk
We're-
about this because I want everybody, they got to hear what he has to say.
Let's play everything from Kieran. This is our entire interview with him. And we'll be right back after it to talk about it.
I thought his name was Crying, but it's not. Kieran is here.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, you're saying crying. I don't like because I was crying at the end of the episode. Or
No,
what? Is that what
I
you're saying?
seriously thought that's how I said your name wrong. I think every episode of this podcast up until recently. So one of
That
them
is
was
the
Crying.
first time I've had crying.
Yeah.
I'll give
Well,
you that.
reading isn't my strong suit. Math isn't my strong suit. That's why I do a podcast. I can
Yeah,
talk.
beautiful. Yeah.
Every time I was like, it's Kieran. Like, what? How is this hard? And she's like, there's 80 people on this show. How can I keep all these names straight? You know?
So many people on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had my name said to me like so many different ways. It was the first time I've ever had crying. In 30 years, you're the first one to do it. So
Hell
hey,
yeah. Always
there's a
number
prize.
one.
That's it.
Hey, we're continuing to reinvent and do different things over here. You know what I mean?
Mhm, as always.
That's how
Yeah,
it should be done. Yeah.
Just the best. All right, man. Well, let's get to it. Unfortunately, first of all, I want to start with the fact that I think you are born for this show. I've been watching for a long time. I think you are born for this show. There may or may not be people listening to this right now who may or may not be able to influence things for future seasons. But if they do not bring you back, they are screwing up. Do you enjoy playing the challenge? Because that emotion that you had at the end only comes from people that want this bad, and we only see it a handful of times on the show.
Oh, dude, I love it. Like, as you said, born for this stuff, like doing, physical activities, puzzles, just like being in a house with a bunch of crazy people. I'm like, that's what I live for. Like, I want to keep doing it. And yeah, like the raw emotion at the end was just because I felt like my time had been cut short and that I didn't deserve to be going home. I don't know. I sort of just felt like the whole elimination just wasn't fair as much as it was in someone's position than it was in mine. So I was just like, dude, like if I'd have lost fair and square, no problem. I'd have probably said something at the end to the rest of the group, this, that, and the other. But because of the way it went down, I was just like, fuck this shit. Like I'm fuming. Like I shouldn't be going home right now. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of looks off camera during this elimination from you and Jordan. Steven and I were kind of like, what are they looking at off camera? Can you tell us?
Yeah, there was a bit of the behind the scenes that can't speak too much on, but
Uh-huh.
like with the elimination itself, when I just watched it, it was like, oh, the best of 3 rounds. I was like, nah, man, there was 5. There wasn't 3 rounds, there was 5 rounds in that. So,
Oh,
and I
Makes a lot
watched
more
it and I was like, it just looks like I got my ass handed to me. And I was like, I didn't get my ass handed to me whatsoever. Like,
mhm.
yeah, he's a 4-time champion, obviously won at the end of the day, but I just feel like, I didn't throw my toys out the cot and have a hissy fit. So some people did, and stuff went their way more than someone else's. So yeah,
Yeah.
with that, I was just disappointed. That's why at the end I took my hat off. Like, this is bullshit. Like, even there was a point where Jordan's standing there and he's like chilling at the light, doesn't press it,
Yeah.
and the light stays on for fucking ever, and then he presses it. But then I do the same thing because we were like neck and neck of points, and I'm standing there and I'm like, so you could play this game. And I didn't press the light, and then my fucking light turned off. And I was like,
Oh.
I didn't press that shit. What the fuck did my mind go off? I'm like, what the fuck? I was, yeah. And then even like my mates from the show, people that voted me in, people that didn't vote me in, like after it messaged me, like, when they were eliminated whatsoever, they were like, oh, hey, how you going? It's like, yeah, I'm sweet. They're like, oh, we just want to let you know, like, I feel like your elimination was bullshit. You don't deserve to be going home. Like, we feel like you won it. And I was like, oh, I can't be delusional then. Like, if everyone's saying the same thing to me, I was like,
Mhm.
it was just a bit annoying, you know what I mean? I didn't get the result that I wanted, which sucks. Can't take any away from a 4-time champion. It is what it is. But next time I verse him, yeah, I'm ready to go against Jordan again. That's for sure.
I'll say this is not the first time that there has been a 5-round thing that is made to look like 3. So this is not just you. It happens sometimes. So don't
Yeah.
that was done purposely
Yeah.
just for you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I wanted to ask you because you obviously came from the Aussie version of the show for your first season. What do you think is like the biggest difference that you saw, like gameplay wise, from the Aussies that you played with versus like once you're thrown in with the Americans?
Oh, the Americans, I feel like, all banded together straight away because loads of them were off like the same season together, or they've done like a few seasons here and there. So I was like, for me, when I heard that, and I was thinking, why the hell you got 8 people off the same season? Like, they're obviously all going to be working together straight away. I was like, you're going to mix it up. Like, you only got 2 from Australia. You got, one from bloody Romania and Germany. Like, we're all just little ring-ins. Like, we don't know anyone, but yeah, you've just got a bunch of people that are from the same season that are 100% going to be working with each other. So obviously, getting into that alliance was just never going to happen because they've already got so many of them. So why would they want anyone else? So that's why I like banding together. I saw like the UK guys. Obviously, you got the English accent myself. I used to live there. I was born there. So I just like gelled with them straight away. And I was like, well, these 2 guys are fit. Like Zara's fit. Like Melissa's a pocket rocket. Like she'll take anyone and go at anyone. So there's our bulldog for the group. She's sweet. You know what I mean? If someone needs to attack you, unleash Melissa and let her have a go at them. She'll smash anyone. So I just felt like obviously banding with them was good, but the Americans there, yeah, they've got like I felt like Nerys was like a bit of a ringleader for the chicks, and then like Jay was like for the dudes in that sort of sense. So then it was like whatever she said would get the heads of them going, whatever he would say would get his little heads going, and then they'd sort of like band together and come in and let's say it. You know what I mean? Take them out. And same with like Michelle, she'd be up there too with it. So I don't know. I feel like the Americans with the gameplay as such in the house, like the social game, was a lot better than what I come from, like with the Aussies and doing that stuff. Like just watching it back, yeah, definitely.
I mean, the thing that we always say is, yes, there was a giant American alliance, but if there's 15 people on your alliance, do you really have an alliance? Because it seems like half those people were also talking to you guys most of the time as well. And it's just like, are they really in the alliance they think they're in? Because Corey did what Corey did there. And it's just like, as that's going for you, does it seem, are you able to tell in the moment who is very clearly working with who? Or is it a lot of like, they say, oh yeah, I'm good with you. And you're like, I'm not buying that fucking bullshit. I'm not buying that.
Yeah. Yeah, so there'd be a few times where people say that, and I'd just be like, I don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like straight away, I'm like, whatever. Like the only people that I honestly felt 100% solid with was like James, Callum, and Zaza. That was it. Like them 3, I was like, they're the only 3 that I actually feel like I will never say their name, and they will never say mine unless we make an agreement, like I did with that whole burn a vote thing, which I didn't realize was a burn a vote. I was like, I'm just going to say his name. You say mine. I was like, yeah, sweet. I'm in the clear. He's like, yeah. And everyone's like, you're burning votes. And I was like, shit, what the fuck's a burn a vote? I ain't been here before, bro. Leave me alone. I don't know what you mean.
So burning votes was not something you did on your first season there. That was not a situation you guys did.
Nah, we never once had that. Nah, we just, didn't have to. So doing that, I didn't realize it was called a burning a vote. So I did it, and then I was like, all right, well, I ain't ever doing that again because nobody likes it here. You know what I mean? I was like, lesson learned, guys. Like, give me a break. I'm new here.
Yeah, they don't like it until they want to do it and it helps them, and then they hate it.
Yeah, exactly. And then when loads of them did it, I was like, and they were like, oh, we're all burning votes. I was thinking, you got two-faced. Like, you all went nuts at me for doing it and saying, oh, you shouldn't do it. And then next minute, like, oh, all the girls are burning votes. I was like, hold the fuck up. Wait a minute. What's going on?
See, this is why I like the Aussies, because you guys shoot it straight, and I appreciate that. That's how I like my teas, straightforward. You know, Troy was the same way. We had a great interview with Troy, and he was the same. He does no bullshit, just to the facts, and I love that. And I feel like all the Aussies, they approach it that way.
Yeah, it was the best way to be. It's like even people coming up to me saying, "Oh, you're going to say my name?" I go, "Yeah." I'm not going to lie to you because you're going to see me say it in an hour. I was like, yeah, I'm going to say your name. Like, if they ask me, I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't know. Maybe not. It convinced me. No, fuck it. If I'm saying your name, I'm telling you I'm saying your name.
I love it.
I just feel like I don't need to like go with a house vote all the time anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you can have a target on your back no matter what. And like now I don't need to sort of like hide, my skills that I was trying to, even though I was like taking charge and fucking everything. I wasn't really a great man that I thought I was being. Even you know what I mean. I wanted to win money. I wanted to win shit. I hate losing.
It makes total sense. Each time you were like, "All right, here's my background. Here's how I think we can do this. I've done this before." They're like, "Yeah, but wait, let us all put on our input." And I was like, "The guy knows what he's talking about. Just let him do his fucking thing."
Yeah, that was so. That first one, like, because I was violently hungover. Nice. I was like, on the way there, like throwing up in the bus. I was like, oh my God, can't believe we've got a challenge here. You know what I mean? I drank God knows how many bottles of champagne the night before. Nice. And then we get there and it's this, and I just had a look at it and I was like, all right, so it's a pit. We just got it easy. I was like, yeah, I've done this many times before. And everyone's going, oh, what about this? I'm just thinking, shut the fuck up. None of you have done this. I know how to get every single person and that puzzle piece out. Yeah. You just do the puzzle. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's great. So
and then when I didn't take charge of like the ladder one,
that was a disaster.
And then people were like, "Oh, shocking!" And I was like, and then people were going, "Oh yeah." I've said it on every podcast I've done so far, but I don't understand the logic still of having Corey standing on Nerys. That for me, when I was watching it, I was like, "What are we doing?" Like, is she all right?
On Olivia, I'm like, "What the fuck is going on over there?"
Yeah.
Ridiculous. James has got his giant foot in Olivia's face. I'm like, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing?
I know.
But everybody needs to get their input in. Everybody needs to say their piece.
I know.
In order to feel good about it. Also, whatever. They can.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
worked really well.
Soldiers, too many leaders. That was it.
That's always what it is. So as I was saying, we did have Troy on the podcast. We're very close friends with Troy now. He big fan of the podcast, obviously, as I'm sure you will be here soon shortly.
Of course, already am.
Nice. He gave us 2 new Australian slangs that we could use in our day-to-day life. He gave us a bit of how you going. He gave us that one.
Yeah.
And he gave us on the sauce. And so we're like, I bet you he's got another one for us. So is there something else you can give us that we can use maybe day-to-day or something we can pull out if we're out? Maybe, I don't know, Mixie's spoken for.
I like a good dig. If you can give me a good Australian dig, I'd love that.
Yeah, let's be good.
Oh, well, see, what's different probably not forget. Can you say the CUNT word on this podcast?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll say it for you.
So, yeah, nice. Love that. So in Australia, if you like have a mate and you're like, yeah, he's a sick cunt. Oh yeah, he's a good cunt. Like that is like more endearing than say if they want to have a go at you, they'll call you mate. Like, fucking listen in, mate, and you're like, oh shit, now I'm in trouble. You know what I mean? Instead of them going, oh, they'll never go like, call you a cunt. like to have a go at you. It's like, yeah, he's a sick cunt. Oh yeah, I love that cunt.
Nice.
Use it completely backwards. Oh,
I will
did he tell you about
definitely
like
be using this. I love the word
Yeah.
cunt. So now I can say it in
Yeah.
Australia that everybody's cool with it. So now I'm cool with it.
Oh, if you don't say it here, they're offended. You know what I mean? They don't get it.
Hell
But then
yeah.
did he tell you about like the yeah nah and the nah yeah?
He tried to explain it, but I still don't really fully follow that whole situation because but it's kind of like in the US where we're like, yeah, no, yeah, no. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like
So
it's
in
similar.
Australia, it used to baffle me. Like you'd be, say you go shopping or something, like do you want to? We ask them like, oh, do you need a bag for that? And they go, yeah, nah, and you're like, yeah, nah, what the fuck? Do you want it? Yeah or no? Like, just yes or no? Or they're like, nah, yeah, and you're like so confused. And nah, yeah means yeah, so they say no first and then say yeah, and then yeah, nah means nah. It's like
You
so with that
confused
stuff, I was
yourself there
like,
for a second. I saw you. Yeah.
man, when I was a kid over here, I was like trying to learn Australian slang. I had no idea what we were talking about. And then my accent was super thick when I moved here. They were just like, is this guy sweet? Like, you know what I mean? It was bad.
I love it. I wanted to ask you, I personally love your tattoos. I think they're so cool. They're like art. I want to know who that is left in the challenge house right now do you think could pull off the amount of tattoos and ink that you have? Who do you think should just go for it in that house and cover?
Or
well,
be able to pull that off.
Yeah, and actually look good in it.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah,
you can cover, but whether you look good or not,
Yes.
Obviously, me, you, and Mixie, very handsome people, can pull off anything.
Absolutely. You'd look mint with this full bodysuit tatted.
Hell
for the
yeah.
neck, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mixie, that's a good one. See, I'm going to use that now. Me and Mixie will know because we work together. I'll be like, oh, yeah, it was real mint. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you look mint. Yeah. I don't know. Like Emmanuel, he's got a few, so he could. I don't know. I feel like his style, he could definitely do it. You know what I mean? He's a cool dude, and the way, man, when he was dancing, I was like, because I used to like date a dancer back in the day. Dancers are the best. You know what I mean? I think they're hot, and he was boogieing his way. I was like, man, I wish I could move my body like that. Like it was just captivating watching him do it. I was like, I didn't realize. I knew you were a dancer, but I didn't realize you were that good. Like,
he's so
that
talented.
guy can move. Yeah, insane. But yeah, he pulled it off. I reckon he's got a pretty unique, cool style anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he's like cool little. I tried to grow a mustache, tried to shave it off. I felt like I had a fucking whiskers on my face. It was terrible. I was like, watched it back. I was like, what the fuck was I thinking with that, like, dude? That was like a Shaolin monk or something.
Yeah, I can't do it
shocking.
Either. It doesn't work. Yeah,
dude, I've never shaved the side of my face, and I'm 30 years old. I was like, do I have any testosterone in my body? Like, what's going on?
I think you do.
I think you're good. I think we saw a lot of it during the show, man. So well, man, I appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we can get you on at another time. And I say this, I think, on behalf of the entire community. We need you back. We know there's a lot more in the tank there. There are some people who come on that are just there to be there, but we love when we get people on that want to compete and take it seriously, and we definitely think that's you. So hopefully we get to see you again. Hopefully not too far down the road.
Fingers crossed.
I know. Hopefully it will be nice. Yeah, keeping all my fingers and toes crossed.
All right, man. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Easy. Thanks for having me, guys. Legends.
Oh, we're legends now. That's clip it. Put it on social media. Legends. We got the official branding. Got it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
What a great cunt.
Nice. Mint to you.
A minty fresh cunt. That one is.
You legend, you.
God love him. Yeah, that was great to talk to him, and I want to get into what he had to say. Steven and I haven't talked since we interviewed here, and we just hopped into this. So I want to talk with you about it. I noticed, and I said it when we were interviewing him, I saw both Jordan and Kieran doing a lot of looking out towards where the cameras were, which is where production is. It's a lot of looks, and there was a lot of weird cuts with the numbers on the bottom jumping.
There was TJ blowing the horn an extra time in the edit. And I'm like, wait, he just blew the horn for round 2. Why is there another horn?
Yep.
Jordan didn't move. He gave him the first 2, and then he blows the horn again. I didn't see him blow the horn between the things in round 1. So the big thing was that there were 5 rounds of this and not 3.
We've seen this before, right? We've seen this in the past where they say in reality that it's 5 and they cut it down to 3. Don't love it.
Well, I don't love it, and I also don't like there was a clear something happened.
Mm-hmm.
They showed the reset. Kieran said a lot of stuff. I mean, this is made for the corner. This is a special non-whispering corner event that we're in right now.
Yeah, we're in the corner. Let's be honest. Kieran took us there. We really haven't left the corner.
If I'm putting on my good corner outfit to talk about this, I think what Kieran said, and here's my other piece of weird little bit of evidence. Emmanuel turning his back on Jordan.
Yes.
I think Jordan had a little bit of a fit about something that happened. And what happened, we're in the corner.
Allegedly.
Jordan sitting there not moving was him kind of protesting what was happening. He's like, I just won't fucking move. You won't have a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You flew all of us out. I'm just going to stand here unless you do something.
Something definitely happened.
Something happened.
Kieran also, like, the fact that he got so upset was interesting to me. I know he cares a lot about this game, and we talked about it with him in the interview that he's made for this shit.
He feels like he got fucked. He basically said in so many words, I got fucked, and you aren't going to see how I got fucked. But there was something that happened that fucked me over, and I don't fucking like that shit.
And also, before we get shit for not pressing with him, MTV was in the call with us. We really couldn't. We're already not 100% sure how we keep getting these phone calls.
And if we press, they probably dry out. And at that point, you don't get to hear
anything. Yes.
You don't get to hear him doing that next time or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Will we be reaching out to ask people things off the record? Definitely.
Something happened. I mean, even like once the final horn blew and they were like Jordan won, like you could see he was livid. And when TJ was asking Kieran like about everything before he left, that was heavily edited.
Something weird happened, and we're not publicly going to get what happened.
Yeah.
Privately and in message boards, there's going to be a lot going down, but something clearly happened. I don't see a scenario where Jordan just stands there and gives him 2. He doesn't just give him 2.
Yeah. It was very showboaty, and I don't pin Jordan as that type. And like you said, when I watched it originally, I was like, why the fuck is Emmanuel turned around?
It was so weird. I was like, this can't be about Tori this many times later. It can't be that. Now, okay, here's another little bit of something that I saw that I was like, oh, maybe I saw that wrong. But now it's starting to piece together. There was a point after the first one. Remember, the first one was very physical.
Yes.
I think Jordan dislocated his shoulder. Something happened because there's a point where he's walking and his shoulder is kind of down. And I think maybe he was like, hey, because didn't something happen to Jordan where he separated he did it in elimination. He like hurt himself. He was doing the pole wrestle, I think with Baby Hulk, and something happened with that. And I think something happened during one of the, I don't know, but I think maybe he's like, hey, we can't make this, I'm not going to go again if we make this physical.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, that's what it is. He's like, cool, I'll just stand there. Yep. Because I don't think there was anything physical after that, right? I didn't see them like,
the second they started getting physical, it was like a hold.
I'll just stand there and hit the button.
Very, very interesting.
Something's weird.
I agree. Something's weird.
I really want to message a few people right now that will probably tell us what's going on, but I'll try to wait till tomorrow.
We're going to dig. We will hopefully be back next episode with a bit more information. I'm curious if you guys
Well, if
see
we ask
anything-
off the record, we can't then tell people the information.
Well,
'cause that's
if
what off the
it
record
is
means.
available to you guys, we will let you know. I'm going to find out. So, Steven. And, maybe we'll hint at something or another.
Yeah,
if
maybe
it
we'll try to
doesn't fuck
beat around
us.
the bush in a certain way that's not telling people what's going on with
If you guys
like,
see anything, let
but
us
don't
know.
look because you're probably going to see other stuff that you don't want to see. So don't dig. But
If it comes to you in a safe, non-Reddit way.
it's funny. I bet you there's some people who listen, who watch that, and we're like, "Oh, Jordan won," and then they listen to this and they hear Kieran's interview. They're like, "Actually."
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go back and rewatch it again too, because I just remember watching it and being like, "That's weird." The edit was so heavy. It was so heavy, and I picked up on that immediately. And how pissed Kieran was didn't make sense to how chill he's been throughout the entire season so far. Something happened.
Something happened.
Maybe we'll
Something-
find out. Maybe we won't. But this is a lesson, everybody. Don't take it as face value. You can't take this shit at face value.
You really can't. You really can't. That will do it for this week, boys and girls. Thanks for sticking with us for the long ones. Here's something I want to know. If you're a hottie or you don't have access to the hotties or listening on Spotify, because I know you can do like QA things now on Spotify, if you're on the YouTube group, are you liking the double episodes? Are you not liking the double episodes? Do you prefer a single episode? Like, is this too long for you? Let us know.
Yeah.
Not saying we're going to do it, but we always want to learn and grow and do stuff for you guys since they're the ones listening to this. So let us
Yeah,
know.
we love the community.
We love you very much, and we will see you in 2 weeks, I guess, or whenever you're listening to this. All right, we love you. See ya.
Bye.